Hello, everyone. I'm Dan, and I'm together today with Jamie.
Yeah, only
Jamie,
today.
say hi.
Unfortunately, we're only together for today. It's a temporary relationship.
And we decided to talk about why do we blame men for everything today's podcast.
Yeah, fuck that, bro. Why do we blame men?
But first, we're going to just catch up really quickly. So, Jamie, how was your week?
Ooh, I have been doing a lot of like shipping documents. I had not realized how complex it is when you need to ship products and avoid tariffs and avoid and be able to like claim taxes back. So that's insane. I have become essentially a shipping master. I am in contact with Maersk, with Ava, which is wait, what's Eva? You know, Eva
Wh-
Airlines. What's their shipping brand called? The shipping branch.
When you
Evergreen.
started to name all those, no, that one I know.
Yeah,
Okay,
Evergreen.
continue.
Yeah, shipping companies are a nightmare to deal with. But other than
Is
that,
it slow
I
and bureaucratic?
it's so bureaucratic. Holy shit. Like you send a document. So I send in a document, right? And uh I had to ship out like a dangerous good container where you have to do a lot of like preliminary verifications, let's say. Right. So I had to like provide them with the net weight, gross weight of how much the final product weighs. But I don't have that information yet because it's not being assembled yet. But I have to get the application before I could assemble it. Otherwise, I'd be stuck with a bunch of goods that I cannot ship. Right. So you're sort of stuck in this circular chicken and egg kind of situation. You don't have this, you can't do it, but you can't do this if you unless you have the papers for it. And it's just a nightmare. Uh, but other than that, I've been playing a lot of like indie games. I have rediscovered my. I feel like right now there's so many indie games that you can just download the demo. It's completely free, right? A lot of it has multiplayer features, and I play them with the same spirit as I used to play all these flash games online. You know, and it's just so much fun. Like there's a game called The Adventures of Sir Kix-a-Lot. It's like this Minecraft-esque it's first person adventure game where you kind of just mess with NPCs. You know, it's all about like just finding the most
Ah,
finding the most creative ways to mess with NPCs. You can set them on fire, you can mind control them, and the game is so well polished. Like holy crap, like I have to do like videos about it
sounds really good.
because yeah, if you try it, you'll see like how well polished it is. And I feel like a lot of games kind of get too ambitious and they forget about like the small things. Like even though the game isn't special in any way, but just by virtue of being so well polished, it feels like I'm playing a Blizzard game. You know that those are the kind of games you keep playing because it's so well optimized for your experience. And then there's also a game called Mecha Chameleon. I haven't played yet, but it looks like fun. It's a friend swap game where it's hide and seek, but you need to paint yourself. So your character can line up with a
Oh,
painting, and you paint yourself to hide. And I thought, hey, I'm an artist. Maybe I could pull out my drawing pad and then like my drawing tablet, and I could be good at the game. So I'd be excited to try that with you guys.
oh yeah, I saw it a lot. It keeps popping up in my Instagram reels.
Yeah,
Yeah, we should definitely play it.
that'd be so much fun. How about your week, Dan?
My week was fairly calm. Uh, just working. Maybe kind of a highlight or the thing I wanted to mention. I've been thinking a lot that for the past month I was drawing different furniture projects for different people, and no one actually bought anything yet. So I'm kind of in this bad spot where I'm running out of money, and uh, and I'm thinking, what can I do so I don't actually do work without people paying me for it? Because all this design and price estimating, it takes time,
Yeah, it takes
but
effort.
it doesn't mean people are going to pay me for it. So I need to make it much faster or something, much easier for me to do. Uh, or
Then,
maybe just give a very like approximate estimate, and only if people are all right with the price, then do like a precise one.
but how could they be okay with the price without like seeing the product?
If they have, I mean, if they know what they want, like a closet, they described it. And
Hmm.
I should make people come with the projects, like a simple drawing of where they want things.
I thought you were about to announce your new exciting AI integration venture. You're now pivoting into an AI powered furniture company. We're gonna make you go IPO. You're gonna make millions.
Yeah, yeah.
Imagine. You know what? Because I do understand, like, from the customer's point of view, if they have a lot of work to kind of imagine, like, these are people that have families, that have relationships, and they have work to concern themselves with. They, the last thing they want to do is to make this whole process feel like a project. Like, they don't want to. They want the privileges of being involved without actually being involved. Without putting
Yeah, it
the
makes
effort
sense.
in. So I was wondering, like, yeah, you could
But they don't
make.
need a lot of effort. It's very simple. You I would just ask to draw uh like the closet from the front is just a
Mhm.
rectangle with a bunch of rectangles inside. And if you show me like where are the doors, you can straight away tell, okay, this is a drawer, this is a door. Or better yet, maybe just tell me what are you going to put in that closet,
Do you
and
do
I'll make.
on-site
Well,
visits?
that's risky because some people like I've been studying good principles of like closet design, so it's convenient to use. I have some experience as well. But sometimes people they want solutions that are
Uh-huh.
not good, but they like them for some reason,
Yeah.
and so it's risky to make your own design because even though you know it's good, people might want another
Mhm.
solution. It's not good, but like I don't know, they saw it somewhere and now they want it, and you spend time like drawing a design that they're not gonna buy.
Are these customers, like, in your country, or are they, like, all over
Yeah,
Europe? Okay, well, do you think like an on-site visit of, like the value of just meeting in person, sort of establishing that bond and getting everything they need in that one visit, as opposed to like ambiguous online conversations, like texting? Would that make sense?
but
Because that is a lot of
maybe
driving for
it
you.
does. Maybe it does make sense. Maybe I should go to them and like draw up a simple
Yeah.
mock
I'll share it like
together.
I have done in my entirety of my short-lived art career. I had done one commission work, uh and they kept coming back to asking me to do, because I did like a portrait art for their loved ones, that somebody in their family that deceased, unfortunately. But I, just by virtue of how I do things, I am very lenient, and I'm very like emotional and sort of vibe based. And I feel like a lot of people that commission others to do something, deep down inside, if they just want efficiency, I feel like they probably just go somewhere, buy the stuff, and then fix the problem later. But if they have enough
Yeah.
motivation to get it right the first time, I feel like that human connection really helps. And it's something like they really enjoy. And my biggest problem was that even after the commission is done, they're still messaging me, and I'm like, "Oh, it's done. This friendship is fake. Don't come back to me." Fucking hell.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right. Today we're talking about why we blame men for everything. So it's likely going to touch on dating and some self-help, sort of mental help for men. We're slowly turning into like a therapy channel, which I like. Uh, and
We
unfortunately,
were always kind of like that.
yeah. So unfortunately, Bernard has to go do something. I don't even know what. I feel like he's told me, but I forgot. Uh, so it's just we're gonna have to do this without his expertise. So, Dan, what do you think? Has dating actually gotten harder these days?
Oh, you are asking the wrong man because I have no idea. But when I like my only perspective is that I remember when I was a teenager and I was trying to date.
Yeah.
My problem was that I didn't make my intentions clear, uh, and it took me a while to understand that you
Mhm.
just kind of want to make it clear that, hey, I want to, date you and
Mm.
see where it goes. I'm not just a friend that it is being nice, because apparently that's how I acted, and people just didn't quite weren't quite sure that I'm trying to date them.
Really? Because so this is embarrassing, but the 5 days that I had a severe crush on you, I thought you were like too friendly.
Yeah.
I was just like, huh, he's not gay, but why is he such a faggot? I'm kidding, I'm kidding. But why? So I don't know. I think it's so dependent on the recipient, and the problem nowadays is that like I see these YouTube shorts online where these are like female oriented content, and it's called Love at First Sight. And it's all these montage of like a beautiful woman crossing paths with an incredibly good looking man, right? And the women's like maybe like an 8 out of 10, and then the men are like 11s out of 10, like the actual Henry Cavills. And he would turn his head around, like they smile. Or the men would just look at her and smile, and then it's painted as something incredibly beautiful, right? But on the other hand, if you switch these men out with somebody that you don't find attractive, suddenly it's harassment, suddenly it is creepy, right? I feel like there's no line in between, like it's either that, hey, I as a woman, I find you attractive, so what you did was incredibly romantic, oh my god, yes, look at me, daddy. uh or I'm like, ew, creep, fuck off, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
there's no line between. So,
I mean, the feelings are there. I think
mhm,
it's okay to feel that way, but I think you just have to, we as a society just have to kind of figure it out. What's the like right way to deal with it? Like, well, first of all, probably don't be a jerk if you're a
mhm,
girl and somebody is and a man is giving you attention, but you don't like the man. Like,
mhm,
don't be like you
yeah.
freaking horrible inbreed.
Incel, most
But
likely.
yeah, but maybe it's also a very turn and strong reaction, because if you're subtle about it,
Mhm.
men might think that, oh, it's just you know playing, right?
Yeah,
Y-
exactly. Because I was gonna bring up the point that, do you remember when we were growing up, it's sort of romanticized in Hollywood films and in cartoons where you'd always have this charismatic but maybe not so good looking guy, but who's really good with his words, and he's sort of charming the woman, right? He's sort of being charismatic, even though the woman says no, but he's just starting like, oh, he would talk about other things, and then eventually there's this, they're depicting a scene where the man slowly gets the woman to agree. It's sort of like the process of, you know getting the woman, right?
yeah,
And
harassed enough
exactly,
so
and
that she
nowadays
agrees.
that's not okay. Like, nowadays
I
no is
think the
no.
problem is that some girls actually like that.
Yes. Oh my god,
And you
yes.
cannot and you cannot tell the guy that, oh, I'm actually just pretending and just keep on like trying. I like this game, because that breaks everything, right? It's
Exactly,
not the
yeah.
same.
That takes the fun
But
out of it.
how do you know if the girl is just playing or if
Mm.
she's legitimately like? Should we as a society come up with a stop word? But then it kind of breaks it as well, because
Yeah.
then you know for sure that if she's not saying the stop word, it like she's playing, and you know what I mean. I guess you
Yeah.
have to take. I guess we all have to kind of learn to take subtle signs.
Mhm.
Don't overstep it. Maybe close up and like you start with something very innocent and friendly, and then you just inch a little bit to something romantic.
Yeah.
You don't go straight away to like something intense, and then you can probably see. I think you
The-
like when you get enough experience, you know when girls are into you and when they're not.
I don't know.
And
I feel like but there's always that slight chance of you misreading stuff, right? Because most
true.
men are not built to be high empaths, right? Like they're not built to be highly observant. The only men that are like that are usually gay men. And and ironically, we never need to use those skills because when you approach another like look, I would never even if I'm like a really imagine I'm like this super hot model Australian guy who is just like a 10 out of 10. If a guy who I don't find attractive hits on me and asks me out, I'm not offended. I'd be like, oh, I'll just tell him straight up. There's that kind of I don't feel like I'm being harassed. I don't feel like I'm being offended. I don't feel like my life is in danger. But with men and women, there's that natural biological difference, that
Yeah.
if you're just much stronger than they are, it's they have every right to be fearful. But you're completely right. Like I have met in person like some of these girls in college, and then they were just like, oh, why doesn't he pursue me? And I was just like, you rejected him 3 times at the nightclub that we used to go to. And apparently she was like, oh, but it's part of the game. I feel like it's weird that we kind of grew up in this period of change, this precipice of
Yeah.
I don't know. I do think maybe the solution, I'm gonna get cancelled for saying this, is for women to be more direct. Like I have met some of my closest female friends in life. They were strong women. They liked if they liked a guy, they straight up would just tell them. They'd be like, "Hey, I'm interested," and then I thought, "Hey, that's pretty good." Like, do you get turned off by women coming after you?
I don't think so.
Because
To
that
be
was the
honest, I don't remember that happening that much, so it's hard to tell.
but I get the point. Like I feel like in the past
Let's
it
say it like that. I can imagine that I'm more than happy if some girl makes it clear
makes
that she likes me.
makes the
But
first move.
if she's coming at me like a alpha male, I think I wouldn't like that.
Why not?
Uh, I imagine it a bit obnoxious, right? And
Hmm.
I guess I'm into the traditional roles where
I see.
the man in the relationship
So
acts like like traditionally, like in the movies where we saw when we were
hmm.
children.
Dan is
I was
conservative.
conditioned.
Cancel this man. Holy fuck. This is
Blame
radical.
me.
Yeah, blame you. We're gonna this episode is about blaming you. But what do you think that because like there is this argument that is is attraction purely it's not all biology, right? Sometimes attraction is social, and sometimes for most men, for most straight men, and gay men, attraction is very immediate. Like you can kind of make up your mind whether you like somebody just by seeing them and maybe with a very tiny bit of interaction.
Mhm.
That's enough, right? That's enough. You're like, oh wow, okay. Uh, but it is true that for some women, they do develop deep attraction to somebody only after many instances of interaction, right? I feel like,
Well,
yeah.
sorry, continue. I didn't want to
Uh,
interrupt.
because for a lot of these women, everybody's kind of on the spectrum. Of course, there are women that can make up their minds just by seeing the guy, but a lot of women regret getting together with somebody they found incredibly attractive, only to find out that the personalities are not so well matched, right? And then and the opposite ends, there are people that develop deep attraction to to the person. I always go back to like my university years where I was just having crushes left and right. Like when both you and Bernard could not escape my lustful ways, and for the both of you, it was never like physical attraction, right? It was always that only having interacted with you guys, I could see the
Why women didn't want to date you?
no, yeah, you know what? My biggest problem because I saw you for who you were. I saw Bernard for who he was. And it was just it boggled my mind. It's like, why aren't you guys more like I would think women would throw themselves at you because you guys are such good candidates, right? Like the quote unquote nice guys. And I never understood why nice guys are not uh sought after even more because isn't that what we're going for, right? So like why do you think nice guys
Well,
struggle?
I really don't like this term "nice guy." I think it's today it just
Oh,
sounds
is
bad.
it derogatory?
But I think the problem was that like for me, I just didn't know how to like start a relationship, and it
Mm,
took me some time to understand some things, and then when I
mm,
did, I have a relationship now.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, it's just maybe it's kind of bad that when you were a child, when I was a child, I nobody explained me anything. So I the reason why I didn't have a girlfriend earlier is just basically because I was given attention, but I didn't realize that it's not exactly obvious that, or like I didn't realize that I need to make like an active step, like just like at
Mm.
some point I need to say, hey, I want to go on a date with you. Let's go
Can you
whenever you're
give us
free, and then get either rejected or accepted. I think a part of it
uh
was that I was afraid to uh like have this moment where
of rejection?
you're either rejected or accepted. Yeah,
Aha.
I just thought about it while
I wonder
describing
who
this
else
also.
could relate to that. That sounds interesting. Uh, the so can
Yeah.
you give us examples of when you made an attempt but it was not understood by the other party that you were actually courting them?
No, I cannot because I like before I would just uh meet a girl, we would talk, I would make an effort to meet
Mhm.
her. It was all in school.
Mm.
So, for example, if it's recess, I
Mhm.
would come up to her, and if it's lunchtime, I would suggest let's go together or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was showing all this. I think like maybe if the girl was also experienced. I mean, if the girl was experienced, she could understand it, and maybe at some point she would say like, okay, like do something herself. But she was also like just a girl from high school,
Yeah,
so she
inexperienced.
also didn't have the experience. Maybe she also didn't know what to do because the norm was for a man, for a guy, for a boy to make the move
Yeah.
themselves, not the girl. So the girl kind of only just had the option of wait and see when I'll finally figure it out and make the move.
Aha.
Uh, and so I never made any serious moves.
Mm.
I just kind of, we hang out together. And at some point, I left for the uni.
Mhm.
And I sometimes think uh, that I think maybe I was even liked, but because I never made any, move,
Yeah.
it never had this point where it can all start or end. Uh, and then when I just realized that I need to be a bit more bolder about it, that's when I got into a relationship. Like it's it was quite easier than I thought it is.
Yeah, Dan finally managed to court his current partner by slaying a beast and presenting her with the corpse of the beast and lots of food and a beautiful cave. You've asserted your male
I
dominance.
don't know where you got this, uh, but no.
Actually, you know what? Like, do you still think like men nowadays should make their first move? Or should they be the ones to make the move? If you have a son, would you tell him to be the person to make the first move?
Yeah, for my son, I would tell him this is what it was like when I was growing up.
Mm,
This is like the role model that I like. Maybe it's just because this is the only role model I was in. Uh, so you're free to figure it out yourself. But if you want some information from me, I can tell you how it was for me, and
mm.
and you can choose to act like that or in a different way. Just be honest about it, and I could even mention, I think, like, I like this
Mm.
because, well, I guess I'm biased because this is how I had it. And then this is only the only thing I can more or less reliably describe to you, because I wasn't in another role model. So yeah, that's my opinion, and I think that no, it doesn't have to be that only men make the first move. Women can make the first move. It's perfectly fine. It
Ah.
just the only risk, if you can call it like that, in there is that some girls like when when a man makes the first move. Some girls
Mhm.
don't care. Some girls maybe even don't like it. Maybe they want to be the first one to make the
Yeah.
move, and it's the same with men. And the risk is that maybe if a girl makes a move and the man was kind of like getting ready to make a move, and he doesn't like when girls make moves, uh, then that kind of ruin it. It can ruin it. But I said that, and I think that maybe on a more fundamental level they're not compatible anyway. So maybe that's not even a real problem. You kind of straight away find out that not all of your values line up, and if somebody cannot get over it, then maybe you shouldn't even date in the first place.
Mhm. That makes sense. I just imagine your son in the future. He's gonna jump out of his chair. He's gonna be like, "No women can have me. The only thing that can have me is theater." And with his painted nails. Oh my gosh, he's a transsexual,
I
asexual.
would say, my God, you're so flamboyant.
It is like there are flamboyant men that end up that are straight. Like I've always been confused about this Russian singer called Vitas. The guy who goes, "Da," that song.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he's straight, right? He has a wife, doesn't he?
I don't know.
His outwards performance is
I
so
think so.
feminine, and I was always curious about, like, there have been other singers in Asia that are like similar in their kind of outward presentation. That they seem feminine, but they're still liked
Mhm.
by so many of our boomer parents. So I kind of question the idea that all femininity in men are rejected. I feel like maybe in an older generation, you're sort of forgiven for being or even celebrated for being effeminate if you are like a singer or an actor. You know, uh, I think about this viral clip. I don't know if you've seen it. It's an Irish couple, and the camera is filming the boyfriend, and then
Mhm.
the guy is just convinced that there are no gays in Ireland. And then she kept saying, "Oh, this actor, this singer," and he's like, "No, but he's an acting man." They're supposed to be like that.
Why
Anyway,
does he have a Jamaican accent?
yeah. Oh gosh. But the what was I gonna say? Oh, like, so you feel like both men and women can make the first move. Uh, what do you think?
Yeah.
Like in your experience, like what are some red flags you've noticed about people, like in women, so we can hate you?
Hmm. When you said red flags, I started to think can it be, and I have like a up in the air, this emotional image of
Mm,
what I would think is a red flag, but uh, I'm struggling to put it into words. Hmm.
maybe like maybe if they're too egotistical, they feel like they
Yeah,
deserve everything.
I think you're very on point with it.
What if like
I don't like delusional people.
okay, how about this? Like you go on a date, and you've had a brilliant date, everything went well, but the woman says is sort of like she didn't say it, but she's sort of expecting you to pay the bills, and then like, but you only found out because you were like, oh, the bill is here, and then politely you asked, like, how would you like to split this, and then you see this disappointment on their face, and you suddenly realize they're expecting you to pay because look, this is a big topic of debate on, especially like on Black Twitter. I feel like a lot of African American women uh that are the loudest online have made like these claims. They're like, oh, they kind of expect the man they date to be making six figures, to be to be providing, right? Like there's this male comedian who's very popular with gay men. He gets DMs all the time, and during his stand-up, he said that he compared like the two DMs he received, one from a woman, one from a gay guy. Uh, the gay guy messaged him, okay, do you have time for a meetup? I will pay you $500 to suck your feet, right? So that's guys. And then the lady that DM'd him a thirsty message she said, "So when are you gonna take me out to dinner?" You know? So so there's that there is this still kind of like conventional inequality that's tolerated, I feel. Is that like a
I
red
think,
flag?
I think, kind of in a way, yeah.
Mhm.
Like, let me elaborate. I think that women, for me, a red flag is when it's demanded.
Mm.
Uh, for me, a red flag is when it's over the top. What I mean by that is that
Mhm.
a woman thinks it's like absolutely this is the way to go for her to just sit at home, not do anything, like just go out with her friends and
Mhm.
partying, and well, maybe not partying, but just live this relaxed life where she doesn't do anything besides entertainment,
Yeah.
and then the male has to pay for it, has to, uh, and like there's no other way to do it. Mm, that is a red flag for me. But at the same time, uh, a red flag, kind of like a parallel for me, is that if a male thinks that the woman should stay at home and only cook, and when you impose this very old traditional
Like
way
trad
of
wife.
family on each other,
Yeah.
like when it's demanded and it's imposed.
Mhm.
But for example, if I would ask out somebody on a date, I would just straight away say it's my treat. Uh, but then I get to choose where we go, and I kind of plan out what
Mm.
what we can get, right?
Yeah.
And
I like that.
so I'm fine with like paying on a date, but if we say are lining up, where we start to have a relationship, and at the point where we live together, I would like for us to just both make an effort to uphold our household, right?
Yeah.
I would like for us both to work, both to chip in, and no tracking. It's just, you know, it's
Vibe
just
based.
honest, like, oh, we need groceries. Like, I don't know, my partner was close to the store. She went there and got the groceries, and then another time I'm going. Like, we don't track it, right? If somehow it happened that on 1 month she would say like, "Hey, I've gotten groceries so many times. Can you get them this time because I'm like running out of money. I need like I want to I need some spare money for some other thing." And then I'm like, "Yeah, sure."
Mm.
That's like, uh, and I don't mind. mm, paying more like for the
Yeah.
household up. I would actually want that
Yeah.
because I would, because I'm feeling traditional about this. I just think I would feel nicer like that because I would know that, oh, I'm the one that does more.
Yeah.
It would just feel right for me. Um,
But you know,
uh,
sometimes they feel like they're doing a lot as well, but maybe in areas that you don't immediately notice.
I mean, you need to communicate, because
Yeah.
I remember it used to be that my partner was the only person cooking. And at one point, she was really tired and told me that, on one of the breakfasts that she's really tired of like always cooking. And
It is incredibly
I
tiring.
and I didn't think about it before that.
Oh my
Uh,
god,
and
trash
and and then
cancelled.
and then
Hello.
and then I just and then I just started to make breakfast. And in general, now I think we're like more or
Uh-huh.
less cooking the same amount. It's For me, it's easier to make breakfast. For
Mhm.
her, it's easier to make dinner, and lunch is kind of like whatever happened.
I love to cook for people I love, but I yeah, imagine doing it day in, day out. It is exhausting.
Yeah,
Like,
when you have to every day, like could sum up. My thought is that
mhm.
when you have to, it's not nice. When it's like
You
a
know,
gift,
like,
or if you do something out of love,
yeah.
then it's nice.
Because, like, I feel like maybe this is controversial, but I feel like whether your partner cooks for you is entirely up to the partner themselves. And you should always be grateful if they do cook something for you. It should never be expected, you know. And I have
Yeah, yeah,
seen, like, I've seen posts and I've seen even my personal friends sort of got frustrated because their wife didn't cook for them, or like, oh, didn't prepare food for them because like their wife is leaving on a trip and she didn't prepare any like food in the container box for them for the rest of the
yeah,
week. And I was just like, You're a grown ass man. Maybe cook for yourself. Hello."
yeah.
It's just it's annoying. But
Yeah, I agree.
hmm, well, so why do you think that? Because like, I've been thinking about how a lot of young people now do tend to date less. They go out less. We do have less third spaces. Everybody's stressed for money. Everybody's replaced by AI. Meanwhile, you know, Elon Musk is officially a trillionaire. And recently we just found out that there's a mega list close to what Epstein has, but it's instead organized by Peter Thiel. And you just there's so much asymmetry going on in life. Like people or refraining from dating and they never really get to the part where because I tell me if you agree with me on this. Like I feel like now that I'm in my 30s, my main attraction to a another person is very simple. I just need to see yeah, I'm attracted to people that are passionate about something like this. If this person has something that he would do even without being paid, even without having money, it could be sports, it could be games, it could be art, you know, it's some kind of hobby that some kind of something that they're dedicated their lives to. I find that incredibly attractive, and I'm curious because I know that this is also attractive to, for some women. But what about for straight men? If you do you feel like if a woman has has a passion for something, that's something that they're incredibly uh close to, something that they do every day. Let's say, you know, maybe she is uh a gymnast and she's really into, you know, all anything gymnast related stuff. Is that like an added bonus for you? Like is that a point for attraction to you guys? I'm just making you speak on behalf of all straight men. So, is that like? Do you think that is something that men would find attractive, or is that something that it doesn't? It's nice to have, but it doesn't play a big role.
Well, like, again, speaking on behalf of everyone is,
Hmm.
I don't think it's possible, because everyone is so different. But I'm just gonna talk about me personally. I think it's attractive. I
Oh.
think it ties into like my red flag of girls just wanting to rest and be entertained all the time and
Hmm.
not do anything. Uh, as I said that I would like for everyone to chip in into the household, but
Hmm.
it doesn't have to be even money. Like I don't mind my partner not making any money and be passionate about something, sports or craft or art or
Mhm.
even like just it doesn't matter. Just be passionate about something and do something because if I make enough money and that I can pay all our bills and we can have a good life, then like I don't care.
Mhm.
Uh, for me, it's a thing where I feel like such a person is much more interesting to live with uh,
Yeah.
because there's much more to talk about and you can share like I can share some things that I'm passionate about or what I did at work and stuff like that, and then she can also share things like that. So I guess it's an attraction point. And you know what it made me remember?
Mm.
You at one point you were saying that men are more visually attracted
Yeah.
and women are more socially attracted, and it made me remember that I think that
I said that?
both men and maybe you didn't say it
Maybe
in
I did.
those
I
exact words, but let me elaborate. Maybe you'll remember.
Yeah.
Um, uh, so I think that both men and women can be attracted both visually or socially.
Mhm.
I wouldn't be surprised if male are more dominantly attractive visually and women are more attracted socially. But I can remember that there were instances where a girl would do something that is not, sexual or like visual, or she could just say something,
Mhm.
and but it made me find out a trait about her, uh, like her personality, that
Mhm.
suddenly makes her attractive. Like it still happens to men, I guess, also.
Yeah,
And I think it's a very important aspect. And I think they're actually both two separate aspects because you can have a relationship with, like, you have to have both physical attraction and you have to match uh, with your personalities.
yeah.
Because if it's only personalities, then it's a friend, and if it's only uh, like physical attraction, then it's like a purely physical thing. You want to be able to have a good relationship, in my opinion.
Yeah. Let me give you a counter example then, because I just remembered something when you were talking about like tracking bills, oh, who paid for what and stuff like that. Uh, so if I told you you still owe me 23 euros from our trip to from our last trip, does that turn you off?
Yes, I see it every time I go into that app.
Oh no
I'm
way.
sorry.
No, I don't mind, but it's just funny. It's just like, oh, I feel like I have a weapon. I'm like, oh, I will mention this at the most difficult time.
You have to put interest on that.
Oh my goodness.
So by the time
You
I'm an old man, I'll owe you my life.
you imagine? That'd be funny. Uh what was I gonna say? Oh, so
Like,
yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
Mm. I think what I remember telling you that there was this book that I read where it explained how, hey, if you want to if you want to become friends with a guy, you can often approach them to discuss, to tell them to teach you or explain to you what they're doing, right? So if I don't know you and I see you playing with Gary's mod, and I'll be like, oh, what are you working on? How does that work? You know, how does your game work? Stuff like that. It's a great way to break ice with men, and a great way to
Mhm.
break ice with women is without sounding chauvinistic, but yeah, gossip. Like they're very relationship based. So you know, it could be like, so what's the story behind this guy? Like, you know, that's my go-to. I feel like it's
Mhm.
sometimes I don't
I
realize
didn't
how
know.
good I am to breaking ice with women because it's so natural to me. Right. I imagine like the same for like most women don't have trouble chatting each other up. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, that's really interesting. You know, like the the idea that they could do something that reveal a bit about their personality to you, that makes you kind of fall for them. I've experienced that, and like you know, with you know, for example, Bernard. When I had a moderate crush, I wouldn't say a big crush. It was like a moderate crush. It was when he was just. I forgot the exact scenario, but he was kind of like he didn't care about the small minutia, like the small details of oh who should be doing what, you know. And like the little things that when you guys behave, it sort of your personality bleeds through. And I think that is a pretty
Mm.
big point of attraction. And that's something that people sorely miss nowadays because you and I, we had been to school, we're kind of like growing up in this transition in the world, and we have opportunities to meet people, interact in real life. And nowadays,
Yeah.
imagine the kids that have been through COVID, and now they're in university, and that now they should be graduating. And like our social lives changed dramatically after that, right? Like I barely have any third spaces I go to now. I have a couple of close friends I speak to, but we don't have that we don't have a group of acquaintances
Mhm.
that you speak to casually, right?
Yeah.
So there's no opportunity for exploration for these for your attractiveness to bleed through because frankly speaking, nowadays we're kind of reduced to our tweets, reduced to our posts, right? Like we're so online, um,
Yeah.
which kind of sucks. So I guess this brings us to the section where we talk about like we're really managing the time well. I'm so happy. So the we're gonna move on to talking about like self-help in terms of what are like what would you how would you define it's such a Chad yourself, how would you define masculinity to young men nowadays?
My God, you like the questions you ask. I'm not in the competence to
No,
talk
you
about it.
are. Come on.
How would I describe masculinity?
Because I
My God,
think, if I could glaze you for a bit, I think you are one of the truly masculine person I have in my life.
my God. To
Yeah,
thank you.
Dan just came.
I yeah,
Mhm.
I. It's what's the word? Not shameful. Shameful is a bad word, but like you make me blush.
Okay, so what do
Uh,
you think?
mm, what is masculinity to a young man? Like, how would I would describe it?
An easy one is like
Ah,
emotional control, right? Like that's difficult for young people in general, but it is very important to control your emotions. Uh, I to a point where you don't want to hide yourself, you don't want to pretend to be someone else, but at least like, when you're mad or when you're frustrated, you could just say, "Hey, I'm feeling frustrated," stuff like that, as opposed
yeah.
to just lashing out. And
Mhm.
I think like do you think part of being masculine is because this feels like it goes against conventional beliefs. I feel like for a very masculine guy, he needs to be very in touch and very aware of his mental state, of his own emotions. If he has a good grasp on his own emotions, he understands that hey, my fight is not with you. For example, if I get into a fight with you, I can quickly separate out and could say no, I'm not mad with you, but I'm mad about what happened here, so let's work on that, right? Like you remove
Yeah, yeah.
the issue from the person to the problem itself.
It makes like a short way to describe it. I would
Mhm.
say that's gonna sound sexist now. Now that's what now when I think about it.
Mm.
But I guess it's true for women as well in a way. So,
Yeah. Yeah, this is very
so I
general, I think.
think masculinity is just being mature, grown-up person. I think
Do you think being good
you know
isn't
your emotions. You, yeah, I think being like kind and willing to help those that are less fortunate or like just need help. I
yeah,
think that would be seen as masculine as well.
because
Mm.
we do exist in a world where
Just be a
Mhm.
reliable pillar
Mhm.
of society. Um, know your emotions. Know how to talk with people. But at the same time, be a pillar in the sense that you're not a pushover. It's not that you're what's the word when people cannot change their like
Too stubborn.
decision. Yeah, you're not just stubborn, but like you know what you want to do.
Mhm.
You respect other people's opinions, and like if somebody else doesn't want to do something that you would like, you also respect that, and you communicate clearly,
Mm.
but you don't, oppress.
I
So I guess it's like this firmness, but not in an abusive way.
It's a stoic.
Maybe, I
Hmm.
guess so.
I am struggling to think of, what other qualities would qualify as masculine. I wonder who else has an opinion on this. Oh, I wonder who could chime in.
Hmm.
Hmm. Okay.
If only there would be more people on this podcast.
Right, yeah. The so I feel like a big part of our self-discovery and coming to terms with our own being and masculinity, there existed a point in time where a really big shift in our lives happened. And I feel like a lot of people, a lot of young people especially, are struggling because these people that used to go to a third space, that used to go to, like, let's say, a school or a church or like a church congregation, or maybe they belong to like the same fraternity, maybe they served in the army. For me, right, like I had to serve in the army, and I have to say, like, even though I didn't want to be in there, nobody wanted to be in there, but I felt like I belonged in a group of like 40 men in our company, military company. And every day you wake up, there's something you have to do. Like, all the decisions are made for me, right? I didn't decide what to do or when to eat. When you lived like a military life, everything is very fixed. You always have somebody that watches over you, and in the same way that it is oppressive, it is also relieving, right? You don't have to spend your mental energy about this. And what we've observed is that a lot of young people that leave school, that leaves university life, they have trouble reintegrating into society. I wish we had somebody to give us their experience about reintegrating. Uh,
If only there would be someone that
uh,
actually had the experience of being in the military and then returning to regular life.
yeah. I wonder. So, so what kind of advice, like, would you give to young people that are going through that transition? Like, because I feel like that's still advice that would be applicable to me and maybe to an extent to you. Like, we do tend to have, like, do you observe this? Like, you do kind of hang out with people less. I know you're still very socially active, but it definitely does not compare with, when you were in school, for example, right? So it is just it's just nature of life, because you move on from a system where you all work towards the same goal, graduating or finishing your service, uh to the second phase of your life where you work towards your own goals, right? And to an extent, you're starting to not work together, but rather compete with each other. And I think a lot of people become toxic and become overly competitive, and
Mm-hmm.
they start thinking that, oh, masculinity is about dominance, is about mogging. Like the young kids are saying, like, oh, you're mogging him, you're just trying to be, or financially mogging somebody. It's all about material success. So what would you
What
have?
is mogging?
Mogging is like, I think it's in the looks maxing community, where if you look more handsome than the other guy, you mog them. And it is also a very strict definition of handsome. Like, it's about having those broad jaws, a defined jawline, you're ripped.
But I still don't get it. What is mogging? Is it like in your face
I have no idea. I don't
about
know
it?
the word meaning itself. I have no idea. I just know that they use it like that. Like, oh, you're
Okay.
mogged.
It's like you were beaten by some parameter by another person. You were
By
mocked.
attractiveness, like you're beaten
Uh-huh.
in terms of attraction. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, going back to like people that are, young people that are now adjusting to competition as opposed to collaboration. That's a great way to put it. Wow, I sometimes I surprise myself. So how would you, like, yeah, what advice would you give them?
uh, I don't think it's about switching from collaboration to competitiveness because
Hmm.
both in school or in like adult life, you have competitiveness. In
That's
school
true.
you have
Yeah.
your marks and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and I don't know, in adult life I guess it's your house, your financial success, maybe the
Hmm.
partner you have. uh I think it makes me think that there's a study where people were checking out what uh, a prerequisite of a person having a long, healthy life.
Yeah.
And one important aspect was for him to have his own little society, his own circle of friends, not
Yeah.
being lonely. That's really important. And
Yeah.
when I was little, that would be the backyard of our apartment complex.
Hmm.
That would be your friends. Then as I got older and we moved, it became my classmates. That like my friends were my classmates. We also had, like you said, this color, like shared experience
Yeah.
in the uni. It's the uni, and then and now in adult life, I would say my shared experience is just adulting, like very basic adult things like having enough money,
Yeah.
like your household, and now also having a child is something that is joining in. And this is the places where you can kind of have this fundamental connection, and then you also connect with like the subjects you like to talk about,
Hmm.
and maybe hobbies.
I feel like one thing that is impeding the modern day generation from fully growing up has to do with housing. Because I feel like when you move out by yourself, either by renting or owning a house, you do have that sense of independence, of yourself. You're no
Hmm.
longer attached to your family, right? Now, I still stay with my parents because I live in Taiwan. The housing crisis is on crack. We have officially become, I think, top three in the world in terms of how many months of salary you need to save in order to buy a house. I think right now it's sitting at, I think you need to work for like 40 something months of average wage without spending a single dime of it, which is impossible, right? So like
Hmm.
right now, most people in East Asia, in Southeast Asia, we live in an existence where it just makes sense to stay home, and if you go out to work a job, you get to pocket the entirety of the entirety of the money that you earn, right? And and then like what happens next is that I look at my other friend who is incredibly successful, could afford a house, but still stays at home, even though he's making bank, because he's just used to that, like, and he sort of complained about how he never felt like he grew up because he's always staying at home in his own like
Mm.
old room, but he doesn't want to because he's busy investing. Right, like he'd be much more willing, instead of putting money down on a property that might lose value because of the bubble, um, uh, as opposed to like just putting it in the stock market and just infinitely grow his own wealth.
Yeah.
So how do we like?
I agree with you. I've read another thing where people where they found a correlation between how many children a society is having compared
Hmm.
to the square meters available for each person, like in their
Mm,
living quarters, or how you call it. Apparently, it's very important for people to just have enough space, physical space, for them to, I
yeah,
guess, feel good enough to have a child.
yeah.
And it kind of ties well with my, like I was a bit like not surprised, but like in US,
Hmm.
uh people are given are like having children a bit more than in the European Union,
Yeah,
even though in the European Union on average there's much more support from the government, like
correct. Yeah, yeah,
you can go on the maternity leave for longer. You know what I mean, like
yeah.
social
Welfare.
systems, welfare. Yeah, exactly. and apparently that's not what we need to have children, because in US people with almost no support from the government are
Yeah.
having more children. But what they do have is, on average, their houses are bigger.
That's super
Yeah.
interesting because you know what else? Because Taiwan has been sort of struggling with because right now we're the lowest in the world in terms of fertility rate, and one thing that people kept trying to bring to like the government feels like the government doesn't want to solve it because whenever it comes to like, hey, how do we address this crisis? Our government likes to just give out money, right? And it turns out
Mhm.
that no amount of money is going to be conducive to it achieving this goal. But instead, what South Korea has done is guaranteeing one way or the other that if you're a parent, you basically have an extra day off in a work week, and that
Mhm.
apparently has more to do in terms of boosting the birth rate because
Uh,
like just having space and fine even if you're short on space I feel like if you're given more time to have to be with your kids that will encourage
yeah.
people to have kids.
You know what it made me think? Maybe it's about the more you can make people feel independent,
Hmm.
uh, like the more they are willing to have children. Because if you think about it, that extra day, it means that they're more independent because they
Yeah.
don't have to slave themselves away to some company like as much.
Yeah.
And then the more space you have, it also, I was just gonna say because I have our apartment, but
Yeah.
I also rent out a part of like the workshop where
Hmm.
we're all working, but it's basically all shared.
Yeah.
Uh, and it's very liberating when there's a space where you can just drive up or even drive into because it's
Hmm.
like huge, and you can just do some things like nothing specific. It's very nice where
It is.
there's a space where you can easily store some things.
Yeah.
And it's because it's a workshop, it's not very tidy, or nobody cares if you like make a hole in the wall or something.
Yeah.
I mean, like, to a certain extent you don't have to be careful. It's a place where you can try stuff. uh that's also very liberating. Like, it makes you feel very
Wow.
independent. It's
Would
hard
you
to
would you like to make me feel liberated by going to your workshop and make holes in the wall? Do you think no, but I
And
get
I
your
think
point.
that ties into like having extra space.
Yeah.
And Americans are really lucky about this. I mean, suburbia is not great
Yeah.
because it's a bit too much to the extreme.
Yeah,
But
they
the fact that many companies started out in a garage,
yeah.
I think it also ties into this feeling that there's a space where you can go and do some stuff that is just for you,
Mm.
and
I
you
mean,
don't have to
I
rent it out. But some, like, because you could say you technically have things like those offices that you can rent out, but I don't
yeah.
think that's good, because it doesn't feel liberating, because you have to pay for it a lot,
Mm.
if you compare to the square meters and the amount of time you can spend there for the money that you pay. It
Mhm.
feels more like it's different. Whereas with the workshop, if you count the price I'm paying for the square meters, it's
It's
just
so
like
cheap.
almost, yeah.
Oh, that's a really good idea. Yeah, that's a very new perspective. I hadn't even thought about it. But I feel like it's just because I grew up in an area where spaces are so coveted. My goodness, like just being crammed on this tiny ass island with 20 million people, it's very difficult to have space. Like I distinctly
Yeah.
remember the relief I felt walking down the streets of Riga, a country that's dying. That I'm kidding, but it's just on like a weekday night out, I had my B&B, right? And I was walking in the center of town. It's supposed to be the most busiest and most populated area of the city. And yet there are barely any souls to be found. I was walking down the street by myself. I felt so comfortable. I felt like a big relief, because here in Taiwan, I could be hiking, okay, in the middle of the night, And there will be some crazy couple with like a flashlight and like full hiking gear. I could go to the most remote areas on this island and still find people. It's kind of suffocating.
I guess we need what we don't have because many people
Yeah.
here complain that oh the city is so quiet during like
Really?
Friday night out. It did get quieter. There's only any action in like in the very center. All the rest
Hmm.
it's quite calmer. But I don't know. It's another topic to talk
Oh
about.
well. Rest assured that I will be visiting you next year, and I will request access to the many holes you have in the workshop. Uh, let's bring it into our conclusion section, where I would ask you, what are some of the habits that change your life that you feel like is a good idea to impart to men in general? Uh, I will start first. Like, I have been feeling much better about myself after like optimizing my sleep. I have been able to like, I don't know what happened to me. I think a switch happened. I think I've just aged, right? Like I used to go to bed around like 1 a.m., wake up around 8 to 9. Usually I would just wake up shortly before work, right? But these days I don't know what happened. It just happened. Like I somehow became tired around 9 a.m. I go into bed, I would fall asleep around 10, 11. I would still kind of wake up around 4 a.m. That's too early, and then I would sleep in until 6. Uh, and I've been consistently on this schedule for the past 2 months, and it just feels good. Like I have so much time in the morning, get my workout in, and still have plenty of time to work on my own projects and work. Um, Reading makes a big difference as well. There's something about reading that is sort of giving you like a cognitive rearrangement, like a cognitive uh experience that you don't usually have because we're so accustomed to information being fed to us. Whereas if you read, you are digging for information, right? You are picking the words out of a book, rearranging them, and then making sense of them, as opposed to someone saying it to you and showing it to you, right? I feel like that's a
Mhm.
lost art because we're so accustomed to shorts, we're so accustomed to like these video clips. It just gives you everything, right? There's barely any work you need on from your part, and what happens is you get into this brain rot cycle where you feel like, oh, you got a dopamine hit from this short, and you keep scrubbing. It's just not enough, it's just not enough.
Yeah.
And being able to like read, I just feel like that silence is kind of like giving me the mental rest I need. Whereas if you just keep going on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, you never get to rest, and you don't even realize you're getting tired, right? And then the
Mhm.
next day you go to work, you're like, I'm so burned out. What happened? Yeah, it's the noise in your life. And of course fitness, very important. These are like the habits we need. The two other things that I haven't tried that I think would be exciting for me and you to try, and then uh we can sort of come back next week to talk about how it feels to do that. uh I will make the promise that I'll do it. You don't have to, you can choose to, but I will try to do everyday journaling. Write down something a little bit at the beginning of the day. Sorry, usually at the end of the day. And usually in my journal, like I want to get back to like gratitude journal. I write down what I'm thankful for, and it seems that the people around me have reported that I seem to be more pleasant when I was doing that. uh, and yeah, being thankful is enough. Like sometimes you just take things for granted, especially your partner, right? And meditation. Oh, I have never done meditating. I feel like I want to try and see how it
I have none
affects me,
as well.
because I want to like wake up in the morning, brush my teeth, and before I get ready, because I usually go downstairs, get a cup of coffee, watch some YouTube clips, and then go to workout, right? I think I'm going to replace that with coffee, but I will sort of just sit on my yoga mat and just meditate, just put on some really zen music and then just meditate for a while and then go to gym.
Mm.
What do you think? Do you
Yeah,
feel like
sounds
are
so
you
good.
are you down to try this just for a
I
week?
I'm down to try to journal. I would like to try to meditate, but I don't know how to do it. But I'll find a video or something
Yeah,
that will
just an
tell
app. Like,
how to
usually
do
there's,
it.
like, a video you just follow. You just listen to them, and then they tell you
Mm.
to breathe.
Maybe we can try that together with Arena. That would be nice.
That would be funny.
Anyways,
Okay, yeah.
my habits, I think they're very similar to yours. Fitness, yes, definitely. I'm glad it's more or less of a habit now.
Mhm.
Because when, like when you change your body and you like it more, it's such a good feeling.
It is
And
true.
I remember it was really hard to get there because I would never, like the habit of fitness would never really stick.
But you're so
And
fit.
another important habit was that started out with a very extreme, not in a bad way, but like in a very strict diet that we had. Not even a
Mm.
diet, but like approach to food, like just
Multiple times a day, but eat less?
healthy, that and in general more healthy ingredients and stuff like that, more healthier dishes. It allowed me to transform my body to something that I like more, and both of these together are
Mhm.
habits that changed my life in a very noticeable and significant way.
Mhm.
And another habit that is, I don't know if you can even call it a habit, but this is something that I kind of started to feel like is finally implementing in my life, is that my rest became a bit more higher quality. What I
Nice.
mean by that is that before, especially when I was working somewhere,
Mhm.
um, I would work, and then after work, I would feel like, okay, this is not enough for me to have a good life. I need to actually find a way to, earn money better. I need to um, improve myself, and I think I could understand that and I could feel it. It drained my energy a lot, but I couldn't do anything about it. Like
Yeah.
my brain would be worried that not every single moment in my life is productive,
Mhm.
even though I feel like this lack of rest and that and my inability to turn off that thing uh made me less productive. Uh,
Absolutely, yeah. Because, like, it's
and and
difficult to
and it
think.
helps for me to
Mm.
try to be self-employed because
Mhm.
I would keep thinking that I need to try to like create my own business.
Yeah.
And now that I'm doing it, uh, I got my work-life balance more or less straightened out.
Mhm.
Now on the weekends, I'm again starting to feel this carelessness that was only present, I think, until just a couple of years of my adult life. Uh,
Uh-huh.
for a long time, I couldn't feel this carelessness on the time when I was actually free.
Feels good.
Um,
It must feel
it's
good.
very important. Otherwise, you're not resting. And I don't know how to, I cannot suggest how to get there. I
Mhm.
feel like I just got so tired of worrying about it all the time that my brain was like, just fuck it. I don't care
Yeah.
anymore.
I am very much still struggling for just about everything in
stress
life.
stress you out stress yourself out for so long that you just give up on
Yeah,
life and
that's
then
what
you finally
exactly
have the relief.
that's exactly
That's
what happened to
my
me.
solution.
I used to be like worrying that I'm not optimizing, I'm not like productivity maxing, right? I feel like
Yeah.
I could be doing this, I could be doing that, and I always fall short of my own expectations. And then at the end of the month, I just look at my own bank and I'm like, oh my God, this is a disaster. And something happened in my 30s. I'm just like, huh, I could just not care. And so, and I just
You just stop
focus,
caring.
I just focus on doing stuff that I really like, because I'm sort of shifting my mindset in terms of what's productive, right? Like, I feel like, yes, money is possibly one of the most important things you need to worry about, your finances. It's We still live on this earth in this scam of a system, But the more I learn about like how the billionaires are like tricking the system, how some of the wealthiest people don't even pay taxes legally, and just how ridiculous everything is, I sort of shift my the the French term projet de vie, like the project of your life. I sort of shift it to, hey, what can I leave behind when I think about what could I leave behind when I die, and I sort of
Mm.
work towards that. I feel like I want to put myself more into expression, more into like creativity, so making something fun. Right. And I feel like that would be the essence for my existence, as opposed to like just constantly worrying about money because
Yeah.
it's not going anywhere. So, there's that. Wow, my goodness, a very productive episode. Again, I feel like a lot of the things we talked about. Uh, I would just hope that other people with some input could share their perspective. Um, I wonder who, but yeah. Anything you like to leave us with?
Oh,
So okay, so answer
I
the
have a
question. Like, do
phrase.
we?
I have
Yeah.
wait. I have a phrase that my partner's friend told. Just fuck off from yourself.
That's
It
so good.
doesn't
That's so
it doesn't
Russian.
translate that well, but like yeah, relax.
I get that. It's the it's
And it's a very, it's a thing you said. You cannot say that to somebody that is not relaxed because it doesn't help. I'm sorry
yeah.
that I said that, but maybe over time, the more you hear things like that, you'll finally do it.
Because I feel like it's just touching on the idea that we're so clocked in, we're so locked in to the realities of your everyday challenge of living in this
Yeah,
world. Of course you're going to be stressed out, but then you pull yourself out sort of into the third person, and looking at history really helps. Looking at historical art also helps, because you sort of start to see, like, I feel like the best antidote to this is called sonder, the idea of that the everyday person experiences just as rich of a life as you do, and the idea of chronosonder, which is people in the past live lives just as rich as you do. They have the same, or some of them have same worries, they have the same aspirations, and you start to feel like, hey, we're all kind of in this. So you pull
yeah,
yourself out into the third person, and you really start to see what matters. And I think for you, it's the independence that you get from being your own employer. And I feel like this is a very, not only is this a good, I couldn't say if it's a good financial decision for you because I don't know your books, but I think it has done wonders for your personal mental health. And I think it's given you, like, you seem as a, because you're less available now, I'm gonna bitch about that, but you do you do seem to have more of a direction, right? You do seem motivated, at least, and I'm really proud of you for that. Like, you're always such an inspiration to me and to hopefully Bernard.
my God. Thank you. Very kind words, Jamie. You guys both are inspirations for me. I must glaze you in your turn.
Oh,
Because and I keep just a random side note.
mhm.
I'm so amazed that your English is so good. I feel like
What?
I don't speak that well as I used to in the uni, and of course it's because I have less practice. But I don't get it. How do you always sound so well versed?
Ooh,
What do you
refined.
do?
It's easy. It's called homosexuality. I'll introduce you to it sometime. But I
That's a
think,
funny side effect.
what? It's funny you say that, because I am trying to practice how to speak by myself, like narrate throughout like a video. Because I've been trying to
Ah,
record me playing some of these really cool indie games, and I want to like sort of I want to recommend it to others, and it's difficult to like just talk by yourself constantly. Oh,
mm.
it's rough. I'll practice. But yeah, I guess that's the end of the episode, right?
It
So
sounds like it.
yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Remember, we still have a Patreon. I feel like I need to do this plug. We're also on Spotify, YouTube. You can check us out anywhere. We've got some like let's play videos if you're into gaming. A lot of funny stuff happens during our gameplay, so check those out. Other than that, goodbye, goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone, and thank you.